Welcome, everybody, to the A Little Less Fear podcast. I'm your producer and host of the show, Dr. Lino Martinez. This is your motivational podcast of people's incredible journeys. Oh, yeah, let's do this. Welcome back, everybody, to the A Little Less Fear podcast. Today, I would love to welcome Shruti Sethi, is a holistic nutritionist and cancer coach, energy psychologist, Ayurveda and yoga expert dedicated to helping busy professionals and cancer survivors thrive through healthy eating. Based in the US, Shruti runs Awaana Health, offering holistic wellness to a worldwide audience. A cancer survivor herself, she combines her journey with professional expertise to provide practical, nutritious meal plans. She's the author of the book, The Healing Power Within. I love this title, inspiring listeners to transform their health and wellness. Welcome to A Little Less Fear podcast. So nice to meet you, Shruti.
So nice to meet you, Dr. Moon. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you so much for being here. So I'm really curious, what brought you to this journey? What brought you to where you are at today?
Yeah. So my journey started in 2016 when I came into this holistic healing and modality when I got diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. It's a form of lymphatic cancer. I was 34. I really didn't know the meaning of cancer that time because we were not that aware. And, being at that age, you feel that you're immortal, nothing can touch you. And I really didn't have any kind of diseases as per such. But I never went to the hospital and never had surgery in my life. And all of a sudden, getting a diagnosis was very shocking to me. Having understood what really and how did I get cancer was again very shocking because most of the lymphomas are lifestyle causing. And what is lifestyle causing disease is mainly due to your bad lifestyle. Now, for me, good lifestyle at that time, the definition of good lifestyle was just going to the gym and just looking good. And you can eat what you want because the doctors never told us. I was eating junk food. I never was into meats or never. I was a vegetarian and never was into alcohol or drinking so much. And that was it. That was my good lifestyle. But nevertheless, I had certain underlying issues which I always had put under the carpet, not knowing the consequences of it. Say, for example, I had always had bad gut. I had acne on my face all the time. I had PCOD, which is a hormonal imbalance, and always had asthma, running nose, and anxiety, deep, very, very bad anxiety. And all of these were like, okay, you go to the doctor, they give you a pill, and that's it. I had compromised immune system also because I used to get sick a lot, and I was never used to get up on time, always was a late riser. I was always tired. So these were underlying issues what my body was giving. And what happened was, 2 years before I got diagnosed, I was also going through a change in the sense I was when in my relationship with my ex-husband was going sore. I was in the midst of getting a divorce, and that whole period was so stressful. And then I get the diagnosis of cancer when I was separated, and I was literally less fighting with God. And as you were mentioning, what had I done, like really, in this lifetime to go through such painful situations all by myself? My parents were here, and I was all alone. And it was a very hard time for me because I just had to financially I was going through a very rough period. Emotionally I was going through a very rough period, and I was alone facing all these courts, and then going to the doctors, and didn't know what is the meaning of all this. And when you get the diagnosis, all of a sudden you go to the doctors and all they tell you is, oh, you have to get a surgery done, you have to get chemo, you have to get radiation. Nobody talks about what is the actual reason behind this thing. And I
Mm-hmm.
was really interested to knowing the deep rooted cause, because when you see, when you hear, and when you read, cancer could happen again and again. And I was not wanting to face it again. One time was like more than enough. And when I went to the hospital and saw the patients, and they were they were having a relapse, or somebody was having secondary form of cancer, I said, I'm not going to go through it. And so my journey of really understanding true holistic health began. And I understood that it's not just physical, it's more emotional, psychological,
Right.
spiritual,
Yes.
and physical. It's all of these realms which need to heal in order for you to thrive and
Yes.
really
Mm-hmm.
have a nice, happy, healthy, long life, which
I
could be
like
achieved.
I like how you said this, Shruti. So it's not just physical, but also emotional, spiritual, and mental. All of these things need to heal
Yeah.
in order for you to come into wellness. You can't just heal the physical and expect wellness. You have to heal all the other elements that makes life, that makes gives you life.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And we don't realize till the time something drastically happens, like cancer or any types of disease. But this should be taught, how are we living life? Are we happy? How are we waking up? These are like root system issues which everybody faces.
Right.
Cancer just doesn't happen all of a sudden. It takes years, almost 8 to 10 years, for it to develop when your immune system is compromised. So, how do you make your immune system capable? Because we all have cancer cells every day. We fight cancer cells. It's just that the capability of the immune system goes down, and it doesn't go down all of a sudden. It takes really days and days and days.
Mm-hmm.
And all of these factors, environment, your food, your ecosystems, your relationships, your inner environment, the passion you have, how you're living your life,
Mm-hmm.
it all makes a huge difference.
Yes, thanks for
Or
bringing that up. I love how
yeah,
you're saying it's your environment, your food, relationships, how you are living your life. All of this is what makes a difference because if you are able to create some type of balance or harmony within your environment and your relationships and your food, and you have a healthy relationship with all of these elements in your life, then you are bringing your cells and your neurons to a healthier state, a more the state of wellness and balance.
absolutely,
And that's what
absolutely.
helps your immune system fight these constant cancer cells that our bodies are constantly fighting. And and if these things are misaligned, it gives the opportunity for these cancer cells to either get more of their cancer buddies together and to do what they're gonna do if things are not in harmony with each other.
That's true. And one doesn't realize, like, I'm not against allopathy or conventional medicine. You have to understand that when you take chemotherapy or you take radiation, along with the cancer cells, your healthy cells also get killed.
Hmm.
And you have to build your immune system. Chemotherapy and radiation will never build your system. What will build is the right nutrition, rest, sleep,
Oh yeah.
good, good oxygen, the water you're drinking. Everything needs to be in account for you to build that
Hmm.
immunity of yours. This is just, you know, chemotherapy and radiation, say, are the outer things which you could do. But if you really want to do the root cause, like cure from the root cause, you straight away go to the root cause and understand that how could you repair it. Because people often, like, I work with 4th stage cancer patients, and really people who have given all hope, and we've seen such good resolutions. It's also the mind, you know mind over matter. And
Hmm.
once you have a mind which is in synchronicity with your body, healing starts, because it's very important to align your thoughts, your actions,
Yes.
everything when it comes to diseases.
When you were going through this yourself, because I can imagine, I mean, how does one begin to start to come into an alignment of the root cause when they are in so much pain and unable to really think outside other than this hurts and I'm in a lot of pain and I'm suffering.
Yes, it is very difficult for us to understand our own things, but you need to take a step back. You need to realize, okay, what happened at this point where I am at this stage. Why did the light, why did the universe give me at this point? Like, I was going through n number of things and I had to face this disease, and I was like, okay, why at this point of my life are you giving me this disease to go through this pain right now? We always kind of mark that event as good or bad, not realizing what you could actually achieve out of it.
Mm.
Anything, it could be anything out in your life. We always, uh, get into this flight and fight mode and an anxious mode. Oh my God, what is happening? But that's how the meditation practices and taking a step back helps you, and all the answers will come to you at that point when you are really relaxed and you are in a meditative state. I'm not saying going into sadhana or going doing meditation. Meditation means just taking a break, synchronizing your breath and taking it easy, not thinking about your future or not thinking about your past, being present, absolutely in present, and focusing on your breath. And when you do that, all the answers come to you. So for me, it was like, okay, maybe this is this is a test I have to go through, and I don't know what the outcome is, but whatever the Lord or whatever the universe wants me to go through, I'm going to take it as a pinch of salt and just go through and really help myself in all ways possible, not knowing what was lying ahead. And start going through those days with a smile on my face and realizing that something bigger is to come. And when I was sitting in one of the meditations, and it all occurred that it was all a part of the game where I had to help someone going through cancer. And I told God, if I get well, I am going to do something about it. I was a fashion designer. I didn't know anything about health and wellness, and I never did all of these courses. And then doors started to open for me once I got out of cancer and just got opportunities to work with almost 100 to 100 people rural, and I was in India that time. And then I took my formal courses. The whole idea was something bigger is coming. I just need to be in the process where I'm allowing the blessings to come in. That's I'm talking about the spiritual.
Yeah.
Anybody who's going,
Be in the process to allow, say that again.
be in the process of allowing, like, let the blessings come your way.
Let the blessings come your way. And so that was the state of mind that you kept yourself in.
Exactly. I did not expect. I told myself, why it happened? Was I came into this state. I went to a holistic homeopath, and all he did was he shut me in a room. There was a camera on my face. He asked me certain questions, and all I did was talk and talk and talk and cried for 2 hours, almost 2 hours. And then he told me your healing starts. So what I did was let go of my emotions. I I was like buried under these strong emotions. I
Mm-hmm.
let go of it and then allowed the process to come in. And then everything seemed to be very easy. And like, it all went through. I didn't actually have too many complications. In 4 chemos, the cancer was gone. I was in allowance, the state of allowance every time. Oh Lord, please show me the way. And I'm doing everything possible in my way with dealing with nutrition, my emotional health, my physical health, and I am surrendering to the whole process. And that's
Mm-hmm.
how I got into a deep, some sort of intuition where I was sitting and I understood that my body is healed and I really refused radiation because I thought I've made this relationship with my body, and let me just now I have a sound understanding of my own health and my body. Let me give it some time, healing. And all I did for 1 year was just worked on my physical health, worked on my mental health. And since then, it's been 8 years. I'm living a cancer free life.
Oh, congratulations. 8 years cancer free.
Yes, eight
That's
years.
amazing. That's
I
beautiful.
know it's been, I always, the date was April, almost in April, in 2016, I got diagnosed, and it was like, wow, it's like actually 7 years, right? Yeah. So, um, it's been a journey, but whenever, every year I think, why could I do this? Was I just surrendered and I did whatever was possible for me in terms of physical health, because one needs to be in sound health and in sound, to go through chemotherapy, it's not easy.
Oh no.
And what could help you with is proper nutrition and
Mhm,
proper supplementation and a guide.
mhm,
I always I have worked with great mentors during that
mhm,
time, so that I could really go through that period
mhm.
mentally, physically,
How did
emotionally.
you, Shruti, how did you, and how do you also recommend people that go through chemotherapy? So I remember my brother went through years of chemotherapy, and I would often talk to him about, the importance of nutrition. But when people are going through chemotherapy, I mean, a lot of times they're sick, they're vomiting a lot or have diarrhea, or they're craving a lot of sweets. So it's like it was almost as if you can tell a lot of patients, that are going through this, maybe you shouldn't eat sweets, maybe, but then they get this craving that's so intense, and next thing you know, they've got half a cake they've eaten. So it's like, how do you, or how can we help people that are going through chemo, rid these cravings or go through it in a healthy way, or even start to eat something healthy when that's just the last thing they want to do. And I
Yeah.
remember when my brother was feeling like, I'm just sick, I just want to eat whatever I want. So it's like, wow, so it just like it starts to hit a wall. So
Yeah.
how do we help these people?
I know it's a vicious cycle. It is a vicious
Yeah.
cycle, and one has to break it. One needs to understand through whatever logical conclusion of your mind or whatever it is, that chemotherapy makes your body acidic. Okay, now why? Because it's a chemical. Now, if your body is over acidic, you will feel nauseous. And I faced, before I started chemo, I did not
Yeah.
take the nutritional help. And after I started chemo, like
Mm,
there were two chemos in gap of where I started my nutrition journey. And I saw a massive difference within two chemos. Like my body was not acidic, I was not feeling nauseous, my energy levels were back. I said, what changed? And that was the nutrition. And it takes a lot of effort and encouragement, because your body will crave. Remember, because your good cells are also getting killed, and there is a lot of nutritional loss, mineral loss from your body, magnesium loss from your body. So you will crave a lot of sweets, because your body, the electrolytes are low. So of course your body will crave, but you have to give the good foods, the good sugars, in forms of fruits, in forms of juices, in forms of good fibers. And once you start doing it, which is 1 week or 2 week, it's extremely difficult, but you have to push. You have push your boundaries, and that's why encouragement of your loved ones, of your family comes in. Where my parents were there for me and telling me, giving me that lemon water to drink during chemo all the time, as I was keeping myself hydrated, and a piece of ginger to culminate that nauseous feeling. And then going back and really going on a fasting really helps. Maybe doing a good juicing rounds when you're not hungry, having vegetable juices, making sure that you are having at least one or two good meals with good fiber. And if you have, so that's how when I work with patients, some people feel that, oh, we are facing diarrhea, we are facing constipation. But diarrhea is actually good, by the way, because you're flushing out the toxins, so you don't have to worry unless it's like a very bad one. And eat, like, say, a banana or something like that to give you that sustenance. And if you have constipated, then you need to drink a lot of fibers, like drink
mm,
your fibers. That means maybe do a smoothie, a green smoothie. And, generally doctors don't allow the raw food during chemo because it prone to infection, but that's not true. If you wash your vegetables and you semi cook it, you steam it, you retain some nutrients and vitamins, and then you can churn them into soups or or stews or something like that. So that's how you have to play, but you have to keep in mind that nutrition during chemo is extremely, extremely important. And also after chemotherapy, after cancer, detoxing is extremely, again, a very important part, because the doctor will send you after the chemotherapy, after your treatments are over. They'll say, okay, the PET scan shows no results of cancer, but at the back of the mind, being coming out of cancer, and that you have to face that fear always is lingering around
Mm-hmm.
on
Oh
your
yeah,
head,
that is a
right?
fear.
That, oh
Absolutely.
my god, like I have lived that fear for 1 2 years, small thing. I thought, is it cancer, is it cancer? So you have to make sure that you're doing the right things to keep your body clean inside out, keeping your environment clean, going out, exercising, taking enough oxygen, taking alkaline water, and having good supply of vitamin C and D and K. All of these antioxidants have three. I still now have 3 or 4 antioxidants in a day in form of berries. I also take adaptogens like mushrooms and ashwagandha and stuff like that. So that's how you have to, as you age, you have to, the free radicals play a lot of havoc, especially if you're living in a polluted area and you're drinking, I don't know, God knows what water. So there are a
Mm.
lot of free radicals which you have to fight and wean off
Oh
every
yeah.
day, right? So you must keep, you like, now for me it's become very easy to lead a healthy life because it's become a habit, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
it becomes a habit.
it becomes a habit. It's just, 21 days it takes for anyone to change, to develop a habit, and
Hmm.
90 days to make it into a lifestyle.
I love this.
Yeah.
So it takes 21 days to change a habit and 90 days to make it into a lifestyle.
Yeah. The palate. So basically, the palate changes, the tongue palate changes after 21 days. So if you do something for 21 days, the sugar cravings will come down. You will start feeling aligned with your body's needs. They will always, like, if you tell me to eat sugar, I cannot eat sugar anymore. I cannot eat a milk chocolate anymore. I will need that because the palate has changed. Science. So that's where your mindfulness and discipline will come into factor. That what is the purpose? Like, your purpose is to live a cancer free and disease free life. Then you backtrack your step. Okay, I will do anything. uh, Diet is number 1 thing. I'm going to meditate and keep myself calm. I'm not going to react, not becoming into a reactive state of mind. Number 4 is exercise. Exercise is extremely important because it it
Right.
the NK cells, which fight the cancer cells, they increases twofolds when you exercise, right? So that's important for everyone to incorporate and not sit and not.
So Shruti, I have a question in regards to this discussion right now leading to it's coming going towards the directions of people that are currently going through chemo. What about people that have gone through chemo, they're done with chemo, and then they get a second cancer diagnosis? And let's say that it's not, stage 4 or stage 3, but it's maybe stage 1 or stage 2.
Yeah.
Or would you give the same type of advice as far as like in this case, or let's say that somebody says, well, I did change my lifestyle. I did change the way that I was eating and it still came back. So
Yeah.
what do I do now?
Yeah, that's a good question. And often happens with mostly ovarian cancers, because 70 to 80% chances are there of it to relapse if you don't do the right thing. So the question is, how well did you lead a life? How well did you detox your body? There are certain advanced tests which I always ask the clients to do. One is the gut test, one is the Dutch test if you're an ovarian or hormone based cancer like breast and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And also do your genetics test to understand which gene do you have,
Mm-hmm.
which is a genetics, first of
Mm-hmm.
all.
If
Because
it's genetic,
if it's genetic, because there's
right?
something called epigenetics, and you know that we have seen that certain genes expressions could be reversed when you give them that precision supplement or through certain IV treatments and stuff, which can not change, but actually uh, kind of block that expression to happen so that it doesn't like burst out and create some cancer cells, etc. So there are a lot of advancements which people should be taking care of once you have done a treatment,
Hmm.
doing your blood test and having the inflammation markers down, which is extremely important. So check your
Hmm.
HSCRP, ESR,
Hmm.
your if you are pre-diabetic or not, because generally I've seen a lot of people who have cancer have insulin resistance, which I was also suffering for
Hmm.
years. And keeping that in check really is very important, because at the end, we know that cancer cells love sugar, and the glucose spikes in your blood can also be one of the reasons. Like if it remains high a lot, it could spike the chances of having cancer. So that's very important to get rid of any toxic heavy metals from your body. So there is heavy metals test, which generally people who have done radiation and chemotherapy should
Hmm.
be getting it. And
Hmm.
especially taking care of any mold, any infestation in your house, that also helps, because you breathe in those infections.
Hmm.
One, the advanced testings are extremely important. I know they're expensive and sometimes not covered by insurance, but you you need to do everything to take care and to protect yourself, and just think of it as an investment for your health, because
Hmm.
anyways, if you get cancer, it's going to be brutal. Remember, the second time having cancer is more brutal than the first time because it is more aggressive, uh, and certain drugs might work, might not work. So you should be, I think the first time should be very, very vigilant about all these things. And now there is a lot of research on these things. And you can work with a practitioner who has a knowledge about it, because your doctors won't recommend, they don't even do the vitamin D panel for your cancer, and they don't check. You need to keep your vitamin D in
Hmm.
check. Very, very important to remain
Vitamin D
healthy.
panel, huh?
Yeah.
And vitamin D panel will also check your calcium, right? Because vitamin D and calcium are
Vitamin D, calcium, magnesium, all these panels you should get checked.
you should always be getting checked.
Yeah.
And so, let's go back to when we're talking about the root cause, the emotion root cause. And I'm just curious about you. Were you able to find out what your root cause was?
Yeah. So first was that I was not happy, like as an individual. Have had achieved everything. I had a label of my own. I had a store of my own, and but I was not internally happy. I was always thinking I was not grateful as a person. Whatever I had, I was not grateful, and I was very cranky, and I was very, very ambitious, very aggressive as a person, a very high achiever, and but not never happy, when never satisfied with whatever I had. And I was angry all the time on other people, not taking responsibility
Mm-hmm.
of my own happiness, and always throwing, when I got the cancer diagnosis, I blamed my ex-husband, I blamed my parents, I blamed everyone,
Sure.
but not myself.
Mm-hmm.
So realizing that this anger is not going to harm others but is going to harm yourself is one
Yes.
thing which you should be, just calm the chill out. Like, it's okay to have goals and ambitions in life, but being attached to those things can create a lot of facade in a lot of things. So letting go again was one of my thing. Letting go of fear, letting go of anger, letting go of frustration, and knowing that each and every moment, or the moments I had lived, were all perfect. I am. And the self love aspect, I was not loving myself to the core.
Mm-hmm.
In a sense, I always wanted validation, seeking validation from outside, seeking validation from people. And then only I will have a proof that, oh, I had done something correct or right
Uh-huh.
So letting go of that validation and really loving yourself
Yeah.
as who you are, and embracing your faults and your highs and lows at the same level, which people don't realize. They don't value themselves enough, which I think is not taught to us as anywhere. But you
Right.
know, there should be some lessons on self love. There should be lessons on how you can make yourself valuable as a person. People think that, if you are doing something great, or if you are a high achiever, only then you will be of any value. But your life is as valuable as any other life. You have to be in, you if you are given this birth as a human, you are at such a situation, that means you were meant to be there. So embracing that moment and that life you have got, and then if you really think that, oh, I just can't deal with this, or I have, just go for a therapy, or just
Sure.
ask for help. Asking for help will not make you less valuable.
Right. And so thank you for that. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Asking for help will not make anybody less valuable because when you ask for help, you're going to be getting the resources that you need and some more clarity. And no question is a dumb question because if you don't ask, you're
Exactly.
never going to know. So,
Exactly.
and you deserve to know. You deserve to ask. This is your
Yeah,
life, and nobody else is taking responsibility for your life but your own self.
absolutely. Right.
So I just so some of the things I'm thinking right now is if somebody changes their life and they start to get to the root cause, is there the potentiality of actually creating more stress when they find the root cause if they're unable to do anything about the root cause?
Oh gosh. Um,
Because because disease will if disease continues when root causes are not. So this is what I'm thinking. And I am thinking I'm thinking metaphysical. And I'm thinking metaphysical because of my own personal experiences with disease, not with cancer, but with disease itself. And cancer is a disease, as all disease is disharmony in the body, and a lot of emotions get trapped and they're caused by things. But what if it's so far deep that it's not even in this life? What if it has something to do with a past life
yeah.
or ancestral lineage? I mean, how does
Yeah.
somebody even get in there if they don't even believe in this stuff?
Well, then what choice do you have?
Right. Yeah. What choice do you have then?
Yeah, either live in this distress and this harmony that, oh, I and you know how you want to control things, right? Like, as a human, we love to control things. We love to control our destinies. We love to control
Right.
our body, everything. But the fact is that, you're not the controller. We have the remote control, but the real electricity, where the TV is plugged in, is something else.
Right. I love
So
that analogy.
yeah, so that's how you should be. Like, you are given a stage. Be the best player, be the best actor, and try and
Yes.
win an award. Pull out the best performance. You can do anything. Do your physically, if you're given the body, you should take care of it. Emotionally, try and spiritually, try and ask questions, as you say. Go in deep leaps and bounds. There is always some answer to your distress, and you will get the answer when it's the right time.
Oh, I love
Sometimes
that. Hmm.
you are not ready for certain answers to be revealed, and
That is
just it
true.
will. Yeah,
That is true. And
yeah.
so, in finding these answers, the right answers come at the right time. The best way to receive these answers is through practicing mindfulness and meditation.
Oh, absolutely,
Hmm.
yes.
How can we describe to our listeners what mindfulness is?
Mindfulness is nothing but remaining in the state of present. Just like, be present in whatever you do. We generally, when we are writing or when we are typing, we're either thinking about the past or the future. Give that moment your absolute attention, as if you're breathing, just fully breathe, feel it completely. If you're doing something, be present and do not think too much. When you start thinking, that's the moment you need to pause and again come back to that. When sometimes people cook and they really like and they love cooking, they forget about time. Actually, there's
That
no
is
time,
true.
like,
There
there's no
is no time.
time.
There's no
So,
time when you're in the present moment.
exactly. So that's how that's the best definition I could give you in mindfulness. Be present. And people are not living in present. They
Right.
are either just filling their mind with loads and loads of thoughts about what is going to happen. They're scheduling everything, or they are like, okay, what's there on my Google calendar? Yeah, this. They'll be doing multitasking works, which is just taking away, uh, the focus and the attention from that moment, and they are not really enjoying that moment.
That is
So
so true. I love this.
So you have to start from there. And then I would say the best practice of mindfulness is nothing but focusing on your breath, your belly in and out. That's the first inhalation, exhalation. If somebody doesn't understand mindfulness, just meditate for a few seconds, focusing on your breath. And when you're really in awareness, or just there's any some sort of sound going in your room, focusing on that sound and no thoughts coming in, that's when you really come into your present moment, which is the most difficult part. But that these are small tips I would say to start with that. And when you start practicing and again, it comes as a habit. That habit will again go into your other kind of any other kind of work. When you're giving your, for me, I recalibrate. Okay, I'm driving, I'm going to only focus on driving, I'm not going to multitask too many things. If I'm talking to you, I'm not going to multitask, I'm just focusing on talking to you. So that's how you need to recalibrate before even starting the task. Just think for a moment, okay, this, I'm going to have a good time, just going to be present in this moment. Talk to yourself so that you are in align with your mind and your body. Talk to your mind, talk to your body, and that's how you come into practice. For me, this technique works.
I
So
love that technique. Absolutely love it. In other ways, I mean, the way that I do practice mindfulness, is I go on walks, I go to the park and look at the trees, tell the trees how beautiful they are, or just kind of
yeah,
see the sun shining on it, or the wind blowing the palm trees back and forth, and just
yeah.
really being in the presence of nature. That can really bring somebody present as well.
Nature is the healer. Nature is a great healer.
Nature
Absolutely.
really is. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for all of your incredible information and congratulations on 8 years of being cancer free. And how do you get clients? How do they find you?
So my website is called www.awaanahealth.com, AWAANAHELTH.com. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. So they can get in touch with me, and I have clients all over the world. I work with people who are online, offline right now in New York, and yeah, I would be glad to help you. I have a community. We do community meditations, webinars, etc. And my whole mission and goal is to reach to 1 million people, live and make them, like, at least inspire them to live a cancer-free life. I hope I
Absolutely
achieve
love
that.
this. Thank you so much. So I'm gonna end this by reading a poem that I wrote dedicated to this episode.
Absolutely.
Thank you. It is in this transformation that I've made a decision, and I say that with an exclamation. For in this transitional state, I am wellness. I shake hands with harmony and extend a warm welcome to wholeness. It's in this change where I have accepted that the good can get better and that the better can become gold. And in this new me version, I anticipate newness within rainbows of colors unforeseen. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
So beautiful. Amazing.
Thank you. Well,
Amazing.
thanks to your beautiful energy, got inspired to write this and reading about you. So thank you so much. It's been lovely to connect with you, and I'm looking forward to keeping in touch. Wishing you and your clients infinite blessings of wellness, health, and gold light.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much. You're an inspiration yourself.
thank
Thank you
you.
for having such a beautiful smile and glowing. And helping so many other people with your podcast and being like one of our, I always think you're doing such great work and just interviewing people like us and being a mediator for us to reach more and more people. It really means a lot. And thank you to your work.
Well, thank you so much. I received that with open arms. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take
Thank
care
you.
now. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in to A Little Less Fear podcast. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. Tell your friends and your family about A Little Less Fear podcast. And if you are interested in being on my show, feel free to leave me an email at a little less fear at gmail.com. Or if you have any questions or comments and you also want to leave me an additional message, you can also do so from my website, leaving an inquiry at www.alittlelessfear.com. You can get a copy of my book on Amazon, Amazon Kindle, and Amazon Kindle Unlimited, also titled A Little Less Fear. And thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate all the support. Leave me a review if you get a chance. I love to receive feedback, questions, and comments. And any way that I can be of support to you, please let me know. Thank you so much. I love you. Wishing you love, light, happiness, and many blessings your way.